Someone with inside knowledge of that long journey to get President-elect Trump to where he is today. She was on the stage with the soon-to-be 45th president on the night he won. Former Trump campaign spokesperson Katrina Pierson joins me now. Good to have you, Katrina.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, we know that Mr. Obama's aides have since July been quietly working with both Mr. Trump and the campaign of Hillary Clinton to plan for the passing of power. What do you make of the meeting today? Do you think it was in any way awkward?
Well, I mean, this was a highly contested campaign, and I think that, of course, there was a little bit of awkwardness there. But look, we're dealing with two leaders, two adults who understand how important it is for the peaceful transition of process. And as this process moves along, Mr. Trump, as he said today, is very open to working with all those who are there to make this as smooth as possible.
So Peter Barnes just listed tax cuts are first out of the box. In other words, it looks like Mr. Trump's going to hit the ground running, repealing Obamacare. The so-called Illegal Immigration Act, which is about building the wall. Do you know anything else that could be in the Illegal Immigration Act?
Well, no, not right now, because, again, Mr. Trump is going to work with Congress. He has been talking to leaders across the aisle. He's been talking to leaders in the Republican Party, because he's absolutely going to hit the ground running. He's going to keep his promises that he made to all Americans, and that is to get to work on day one. And as we can see, he's already started, and day one doesn't even come until January.
You know, Katrina, political campaigning is quite different, as you know, from governing. Do you think Mr. Trump's tone as president will be different? Do you think he'll dial it back?
Well, now that Mr. Trump is going to be the next president, he's going to govern as such. When you're in a campaign, you're out there, you're fighting multiple candidates, multiple areas. And now Mr. Trump has to implement. And this is what he does. He's a CEO. He's very successful. He's a deal maker. He gets things done. And that's the side we're going to see of Mr. Trump as president.
What do you think he's most excited about?
Well, I think he's most excited really about serving. He has wanted for so long to give back to this country, as he said a number of times on the campaign trail. He feels like he's had a great life, he has a great family, and now he just simply wants to give back. And that was what was fueling his passion and love for the American people along the campaign trail, which is what has drawn thousands upon thousands of people to come out and see him and hear his vision. So he wants to give back, and that's what's most exciting.
We had leaders from the UK, Theresa May, calling with congratulations. The leaders from Australia, Vladimir Putin, also calling. Also, Mr. Assad from Syria extending a hand. What do you think of all of these leaders reaching out now, particularly Putin and Mr. Assad?
Well, I think all of them together, this is world representation here, and Tuesday's election was the shot heard around the world. The American public, by and large, is definitely supporting Mr. Trump and his vision, and that is change, drastic change when it comes to how we deal with foreign countries. And Mr. Trump's main priority, unlike people in the past where they put special interests first, Mr. Trump is going to put the American people first, and that's very different. So I would imagine all of the leaders are reaching out to Mr. Trump and congratulating him, because there's a lot of work to do on that front.
Yeah, Katrina, I love your thoughts on this. After Mr. Trump's big win, we have conciliatory tones from once arch enemies. We've got billionaire Mark Cuban tweeting out, "We all need to give President-elect Trump a chance, support the good, lobby against what we disagree on. No one is bigger than us all." And even Senator Elizabeth Warren proposing that she and Mr. Trump, quote, put aside their differences. But here, remember this, the pair weren't too nice to Mr. Trump in the past.
This guy the other day is giving a speech from a teleprompter, and he has to remind himself, Donald, stay on topic. It's like he's civil. Donald, stay on topic. No, I don't want to stay on topic. Donald, stay on topic. Come on.
A bully, a twisted bully who can't fight his own fight, who can't win a fair fight, who will never be president of the United States.
And Katrina, forgive me, we do have breaking news. Elizabeth Warren gave a speech to the AFL-CIO labor union saying, quote, "We will fight back against attacks on Latinos, blacks, women, gays, Muslims, immigrants, disabled Americans, on anyone." Many of those people that voted for Mr. Trump, but she's essentially saying he sits in a glass tower. Whether he sits there or in the White House, we will not give an inch on any threats to any of these minority groups. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a good thing we're not going to have that problem because that's nowhere in Mr. Trump's policies, never has been. That's always been a media narrative. And I will note that there were minorities that turned out to support Mr. Trump, more than came out and supported Mitt Romney for that matter, because a lot of people did hear what Mr. Trump was saying and his vision for the American people. And he's going to pass policies that are going to benefit all Americans and not just individual groups.
Katrina, you feel like going to the White House?
Actually, I do. You know, I'm really excited about a Trump presidency. Having that family in the White House is going to make me sleep a lot better at night.
What about you working in the White House?
Well, I haven't decided yet. A lot of people are making those decisions as we speak, and I guess we'll all know when everyone else does.
All right, Katrina, we'd love to have you on the show. Come back on, will you?